What happens when a family's deepest secrets are threatened to be exposed after a mysterious death? The Harrington family thought they could bury the truth along with Eleanor, but someone knows what really happened that night.
Natalie
Discovered threatening diary entries that could destroy everything. What did she find? As each family member tries to maintain their facade of grief, they're all hiding something. Victor has suspicious financial transactions, and Amelia carries the heaviest burden of all. Which family member will crack first under the pressure? The silence in the funeral home was about to be shattered by more than just grief.
Subscribe now and turn on notifications to never miss a story.
The moment Eleanor's casket closed, someone wanted the family to know they weren't safe. The sound of the heavy lid shutting echoed through the funeral home like a gunshot. Victor Harrington stood at the front of the room, his face a mask of grief that fooled everyone except his own family. His trembling fingers kept tightening his black tie. The expensive suit couldn't hide what the past week had done to him. Natalie's eyes flicked from face to face with quiet panic, scanning the crowd of mourners. She couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching them. The funeral director had mentioned that Eleanor looked peaceful, but Natalie knew better. She'd seen her mother's face that night. Peace wasn't the word she'd use. Ethan arrived late, slipping through the back door wearing a wrinkled suit that probably cost more than most people's cars. His family hadn't seen him in 3 years. As he passed the mourners, he caught fleeting glances of suspicion. The last time they'd spoken, Eleanor had threatened to cut him out of her will. Now she was gone, and he was back. Amelia stood in the corner like a ghost. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. She kept them hidden in her coat pockets, but her whole body betrayed her nerves. At 19, she was supposed to be the innocent one, the baby of the family. But the way she avoided eye contact with everyone told a different story. The reception started normally. People shared memories of Eleanor. They talked about her charity work and her beautiful garden. Victor accepted condolences with the practiced grace of someone who'd spent decades in business. Then someone handed him a folded piece of paper. The creased paper slid into Victor's hand. A rush of silence followed as he read it. His face went white. He swallowed so hard the room seemed to tilt. Natalie noticed immediately. Her heels clicked like a judge's gavel as she moved through the crowd, her protective instincts kicking in. She snatched the paper from her father's hands before anyone else could see it. The message was typed in simple black letters. Eleanor didn't die naturally. Someone in this room knows the truth. The police should know too. Which truth will snap first? Stick with us to find out. Natalie's eyes widened. She felt a pain in her chest that had nothing to do with grief. She looked around the room with new eyes. Every face became a potential threat. Every conversation became suspicious. She grabbed Victor's arm and pulled him aside. Ethan watched his sister and father whisper frantically in the corner. Something was wrong. Could feel it in his bones. The same instinct that had kept him alive on the streets for 3 years was screaming at him now. Amelia saw the note exchange from across the room. Her heart stopped. Someone knew. After all this time, someone finally knew what really happened that night, but they had no idea what Eleanor had been hiding from all of them. The diary held secrets that would shatter everything they thought they knew. Natalie found it 3 days after the funeral, hidden behind a loose floorboard in Eleanor's bedroom closet. Her hands shook as she opened the leather-bound book. One entry made her heart stop. Victor doesn't know I found the receipts from his affair, but someone else does. They're threatening to expose everything unless I pay. They know about Amelia too. Ethan showed up that same evening, bank statements in hand. His face was red with anger when he confronted Victor in the study. Where's the $50,000 that disappeared from Eleanor's account? Victor's composed mask finally cracked. Don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Ethan slammed the papers on the desk. You took this money right before Eleanor died? It was for business expenses, Victor admitted, his voice barely a whisper. Their voices carried through the house. Natalie heard every word from upstairs as she discovered the second piece of evidence. Hidden in Eleanor's desk drawer were receipts from a private investigator. Eleanor had been watching Ethan. The receipts showed payments for surveillance on 17 different nights. All late-night visits to Eleanor's house when the family thought he was out of town. Amelia sat in her room, listening to her father and brother fight downstairs. The sound of their raised voices triggered the flashback again. She heard the crack of bone against the kitchen counter, saw Eleanor's eyes go wide with shock, felt her mother's hand go limp in hers. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking, as she'd almost told Natalie the truth 3 times this week. Each time she'd stopped herself. The family's reputation meant everything to Eleanor. Even in death, Amelia couldn't let her down. The evidence piled up like stones on a grave. Victor's affair and stolen money. Ethan's secret visits, Eleanor's threats and surveillance. Her skeletons rattled louder than any police knock. As the weight of their collective lies pressed down on each family member, one burden remained heavier than all the rest. The anonymous note at the funeral was just the beginning. Someone wanted the truth to surface, and the pressure was becoming unbearable. Amelia's trembling voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "We need to talk," she said quietly, her words barely audible above the family's heated arguments. "All of us." Right now, the confrontation erupted fast. Victor started yelling about the money. Natalie screamed back about the private investigator reports. Ethan threw the threatening letters on the coffee table. Everyone was talking at once. Nobody was listening. Then Amelia broke down completely. She fell to her knees in the middle of the room, her whole body shaking. The room went dead silent. "It was me," she whispered. "I killed her." The chandelier overhead flickered as if recoiling from her words. Victor felt a pain in his chest. Natalie's eyes widened. Ethan couldn't say anything. "It was an accident," Amelia continued. "She found out about the money I'd been stealing from her purse. Small amounts, just enough for drugs. She confronted me that night. We got into a fight." The flashback played out in brutal detail. Eleanor had grabbed Amelia's arm. Amelia had pulled away too hard. Eleanor lost her balance. She fell backward and hit her head on the kitchen counter. The sound was horrible. She was unconscious immediately. "I called Dad right away," Amelia said. "He came over. They checked her pulse. It was already gone." Victor's guilt finally made sense. He'd been the one who decided to cover it up. He'd wired $50,000 to the coroner, bribed him to say natural causes. He'd moved Eleanor to her bedroom. He'd made it look like she died peacefully in her sleep. "I read your every move these past weeks," Amelia said, looking at each family member, "because I was hiding mine." The weight of their collective lie had been destroying each family member differently. Victor developed panic attacks. Natalie couldn't sleep. Ethan started drinking again. Amelia couldn't stop the flashbacks. When the authorities reopened the case 2 weeks later, everything fell apart. The family's carefully constructed public image crashed down immediately. Criminal charges followed: obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, providing false statements to investigators. Was justice served? Comment below who you think should take the fall first. The Harringtons had chosen reputation over truth, and that choice had cost them everything they tried to protect. Their decision to prioritize their public image over honesty had destroyed them from the inside out. The Harrington family learned that unspoken truths don't stay buried forever. Their silent pact exploded, costing Victor his empire, shattering Natalie's trust, driving Ethan back to destruction, and leaving Amelia behind bars. They've started therapy, but real healing comes from facing yourself, not hiding behind polite words. Each family member had to acknowledge the harm they caused to each other. Professional guidance showed them that rebuilding trust takes time. Will the Harringtons ever escape the cage their own lies built? That's for them and you to decide. For more stories where secrets rip families apart, hit subscribe because truths once whispered echo forever.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more exciting content. Thanks for watching. and we'll see you in the next one.